the evidence here.
I'm gonna take a picture of it.
Alright, so when you arrive to your evidence scene and you find your evidence, please get that tag with the number on it and put it right next to your evidence so you do not lose your evidence, because we had a small evidence and we kept losing it because we didn't know where it was. It was tiny. And then after that, please make sure you, if possible, take a picture of it so you know, so it provides a placement of where the evidence is and to show permanent record in court.
Okay, before handling your evidence, you need to have gloves.
Alright, since you just went through that first step in that last clip, now what you want to do before handling your evidence, you want to have any type of latex gloves on and a pair of forceps to handle the evidence so you don't leave any of your DNA on the evidence or tamper with the evidence at all, and that's how you carefully handle a piece of evidence. After you have put on your hand gloves, you may proceed by using some forceps to carefully pick up your evidence. And with small evidence like this, we would like to put it in something called a paper bindle where you can carefully seal it. And in order to prevent it from getting lost, we suggest you putting your paper bindle into a bigger paper bag. Alright, so as you saw in that last clip, I was carefully handling the evidence with latex gloves on and a pair of forceps. And what I did was I put our little evidence into something we called a paper bindle. That paper bindle is there to prevent us from losing the evidence. You can also use the glass containers because they're allowed to handle to contain small evidence, but we chose a paper bindle because it was easier to make because we just made it out of binder paper and it helped us from losing the evidence. Alright, after you have put your evidence into a paper bindle, what you also want to do is, since a paper bindle is pretty small, this is how a paper bindle looks like, it's this small, you also want to put it in a brown paper bag, which is bigger, so you can seal it and you'll prevent the paper bindle from being lost, because this is pretty small. We lost it like a couple times. Yeah.
So make sure to place it in a paper bag so the paper bindle doesn't get lost. After placing the paper bindle inside the paper bag, make sure to seal the paper bag with tape.
Alright, so after you have placed your evidence into a paper bindle, take that paper bindle and place it into a brown paper bag so you're able to seal the perimeter. Once you have sealed the perimeter, you also want to initial your name on it and date the date so other people would know who handled that evidence and what day it was on at that time. And sealing the evidence prevents it from falling out of the paper bag in general, and just keeping it there, you know, keeping it there. And I forgot to mention, so imagine this as our paper bag, right? And this is the tape. When you put the tape on the paper bag, you want to initial and date it on the overlap, so right here. So you would start here and it would overlap onto this, and that's where you would date it and you would put your initials on. So if this gets lost, there'll still be half of what information you put on. So always remember, put it on the overlap, because you will lose points in class. Yeah.
Once you're done sealing your evidence, make sure to fill out the evidence tag.
So after you have sealed all the evidence stuff, whatnot, you want to fill out something called an evidence tag, which I don't have with me. But basically on that evidence tag, you say who the evidence you received it by, who you received it from, and you put additional information like what color it was, how big it was, where it was placed, and then you also put like the date, time, and location, which is very important, and just any additional information that you think will be relevant to your piece of evidence.
Okay, after you fill out your evidence tag, make sure you tape your evidence tag to your container that held the evidence. For our case, we used a paper bag because it bestly fits our evidence to contain the paper bindle, because our paper bindle will be easily to be lost. And so we put in paper bag.
Alright, so at the end of the day, once you carefully did all those steps correctly, from handling the evidence correctly to sealing it properly. For our evidence, which was hair, we would send it to the biological evidence unit, and that unit helps analyzes for DNA and whatnot. So basically, if I pull off my hair right now and they analyzed it, they would have found out that it was me, because that's what they do. They look for your DNA. So that would be the unit or the group that would analyze our evidence. Thank you.
There's a piece of evidence.
I think I need to take a picture of it.
We fucked it already.
No, I just cut it.
Alright, so after you just put your evidence in a paper bindle, if you're using a paper bindle. Oh my gosh. We go. Woo!